Welcome back. A new bronze statue of the late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg now stands larger than life in Brooklyn. It's part of an initiative called the Statues for Equality. Now, this is obviously vaccine footage, which of course is important, but what we really want to show you is the statue of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So, as you know, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, former Supreme Court Justice who passed away recently at the age of 88.
From Brooklyn, right?
She is from Brooklyn. And so that's why the statue stands in Brooklyn. Hopefully we can get it here for you. It's 7 feet tall.
Awesome.
Whoa, I'm 6 feet. So.
Right, you're 6 feet tall, and obviously Ruth Bader Ginsburg was not 7 feet tall.
She was a tiny woman, right?
Very
she was
tiny
like
woman.
super short,
Again,
super
there's the
little.
vaccine footage, but the Ruth Bader Ginsburg, they say, or the people behind this initiative say the reason why the statue is so big is because she stood taller than life.
I love
Makes
it.
sense.
It's going to be like the little girl in New York, you know, everybody goes to take a picture with her.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, we're talking about Alcatraz now. Have you guys been to Alcatraz?
No.
Have you ever
I've
done
been
the tour?
around it. I've not been through it.
Okay, would strongly recommend. I think Alcatraz is awesome, very interesting. So the island is reopening again finally during the pandemic. So they've been closed for about a year.
Sweet.
And so the biggest change here is that they're limiting capacity to 25%. And so honestly, this is the best time to go, I think.
For sure.
Because you can walk through.
Right, it gets really crowded in Alcatraz, and it's still really cool. But it does get crowded. So right now they're limiting it to 25% capacity, and you do have to do those audio tour things instead of like a human being giving you a tour.
Oh, yeah.
So you're not quite as clustered.
So you have some give and takes right there.
Yeah. But again, the
nonetheless.
audio tours are pretty cool. They have like some pretty incredible sound. They've done, you know, back in the day, they did some interviewing with prisoners there in Alcatraz, and so that's featured pretty prominently in the audio tour. So would recommend if you're headed to San Francisco. It's one of my favorite stops in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's iconic, obviously, in American history.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only been to San Francisco for like a couple hours on a layover, so that's the closest I ever got to The Rock, or just watching the movie with Nick Cage and Sean Connery. That's
I have not seen the movie. I've heard it's great, though.
What was the name of that movie again?
Huh?
What was the Nick Cage,
And Sean Connery. Great movie. One of the best action movies
What was it
out
called?
there.
The Island? What was it
The
called?
Rock.
The Rock.
It's called The Rock.
Oh,
Yeah.
The Rock.
Oh, it's a great movie.
My mistake. All right.
Yeah.
A Southern California mom captured a touching moment between two young brothers. So to show you the video here, I want you to keep your eyes on the older brother right there. Mom says the little guy, the 4-year-old, was about to throw a tantrum because he wanted to play their Nintendo Switch, but it wasn't done charging yet. And that's when his older brother, his 6-year-old, says he explained to his little brother what was going on and then helped him to calm down and control his breathing.
I love this so much.
Do you love it? He's like, okay, in,
Kumbaya.
and out. Goose fraba. Goose fraba.
This is a video of these two boys, but this mom and dad, like they win Parent Award of the Year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they have two young kids who are like learning to like self-regulate those emotions, and I like cannot get over how awesome these parents are.
Yeah. So does it make you feel, as an upcoming parent here, you're like, okay, I have some things to study here.
Totally. I mean, I just love seeing example. You know, so cool. So cool.
That's great. It's
Hilarious.
very awesome. Here.
Well, I heard we're doing some weather right now, and I'm going to tell you right now, guys, we have got some precipitation here moving through, and more or less in the form of snow moving through southwestern Utah. We've had some here in the Salt Lake Valley, where we're still seeing some shower activity here across the Salt Lake and Tooele Valleys, also Utah County, but the primary area of concern is southwestern Utah, which will continue to have the snow chances. We'll even have a few rumbles of thunder around Moab here today. But AM rain, snow showers, will come to an end here as we progress into the afternoon. 51 in St. George, 61 tomorrow. Really nice in St. George here tomorrow. And we get to 72 with some windy southerly winds. For the Wasatch Front, morning showers will more or less come to an end, especially around 9 a.m. here for the Wasatch Front. 55, breezy, 59 tomorrow. You want to talk about a great day. Tomorrow looks to be very nice across the area. 66 on Thursday, and then near 70 on Friday with some late evening showers overnight. And then a huge drop in temperature here from Friday to Saturday. That's just something that you need to keep in mind, that Lagoon's opening Saturday, and it doesn't look like a great day for it. Overall, we have a new accident that looks like it just popped up, but if you're going along I-15, no worries, guys, even with the roads wet.
All right, thanks, Adam. We've got baby birthdays now, and we have two of them today. The first is our very own Nisha DeGaring's daughter, Kate.
Oh,
Look at that photo.
goodness.
Oh, my gosh. Kate turns 16 today.
that's
We are
good.
just overjoyed to embarrass her in this manner this morning.
Look at the lungs on her.
On the 16th. Oh, my gosh.
Can you imagine? You can hear that.
You
that
can.
photo,
You can
can't
hear the photo.
right. Guaranteed
So
that's why
cute.
Nisha chose
that's
that
great.
one.
Kate,
That is
happy
great.
birthday, Sweet 16.
Happy
And we
birthday.
also have a second baby birthday, Victoria
Oh.
Satterfield. Look at her, those blonde curls.
Love the smile, too.
So cute. Victoria turns 21 today.
Big
So
birthday.
two big
16
birthdays.
and 21.
I
Woo!
know.
Oh, yeah.
So fun. We love celebrating with your family. So please email us a photo and a tidbit about your loved one to news@abc4ward.com.
Real quick, can I show you the fun days today?
Yeah.
So it's
national.
March 16th. Here's
Yep.
our fun National Holidays Day, National Artichoke Hearts Day.
You?
I like this one. We had yesterday was Everything You Do Is Wrong Day. So naturally, Everything You Do Is Right Day.
Great.
Good.
Yeah, so it's one of those days when you find some spare change on the ground, or the green lights
Yep.
on your way to work. Everything
Green
just
lights.
seems to work, right? Freedom of Information Day and a couple other days there for you.
Nice.
Tuesday here for us on GMU. We're back with GMU at 6 after this. Now on GMU at 6, police searching for a killer need your help. Hear what we know about a man murdered in South Salt Lake and why police need you to find who did it.
And more spring breakers getting ready to hit the skies. What the CDC has to say about this dramatic rise in travel.
Plus, we are talking about snow for southwestern Utah. Winter weather advisories are up. For how long and what are your impacts? All coming up.
Live from Utah's first TV station, Good Morning Utah at 6 starts now.
Good morning, Utah. I'm Brian Carlson.
And I'm Sarah Martin. It is 6 a.m. on this Tuesday morning. A hiker is missing this morning in American Fork Canyon. We've got a crew on the way there for the latest on this morning's search. 28-year-old Robert Bobby Healy last seen Sunday around noon. At the start of his hike, Utah County Sheriff's Office say his car still parked at the mouth of American Fork Canyon. Search and rescue tell us he's an avid hiker, but he does not have a lot of equipment with him. Crews found a cell phone ping. They're centering their search in that area this morning.
And people waking up this morning wondering where their third round of stimulus money is may have to wait a little longer to get it. The IRS says people could see delays if they don't have a bank account on file with the IRS. And so could people who bank with Chase and Wells Fargo. Those banks say they'll begin sending out money tomorrow. According to the federal government, 87% of Utahns qualify for that third round of money. Those who are relying on the money, the IRS says, be patient.
I think everyone needs the money. We need the boost, and it's really going to help out a lot of people in need.
Now, the $1.9 trillion relief bill will also help with people getting emergency rental assistance, funding for education, transportation, infrastructure, and emergency paid sick leave. To check the status of your payment, we have a link to resources on our website, abc4.com.
A Salt Lake woman died in a hit and run last night. Two separate cars hit her, then left the scene. This happened near Main Street and about 18th South at 9 last night. The 60-year-old woman rushed to the hospital, who then died from her injuries. Police are asking those in the area to please check your surveillance cameras for any footage that might help them find those two drivers.
In developing news, South Salt Lake police need your help to find the person who killed someone Saturday morning. It happened just before 2 a.m. at the South Park Townhomes near 22nd South and 5th East. Police identify the man who died as 26-year-old Mustafa Husseini. Right now, police aren't saying how he died. Details of what happened are limited, but initial reports mentioned a shooting. ABC4 News spoke to a few neighbors who have mixed feelings about the safety of the neighborhood.
Being a local here, I kind of know the drug spots. I know where people hang out, and this is kind of one of the hot spots right here.
I like it. We got a great mix of people and great mix of culture. I've had no issue living here. Felt nothing but safe.
Now, if you know anything about Saturday's murder, call South Salt Lake Police. Their number is on your screen. Let's check your weather out there. The time, 6:03 here. Adam, it's a wet one out there today.
Well, look at this. I feel I'm ready to go at warp speed here behind me.
No kidding.
This is Bryce Canyon. It is coming down right now, Brian, here.
No kidding.
At Bryce Canyon. It is snowing, and you know what? You're going to see a few inches of snow here at Bryce Canyon this morning, and it took a little bit of time to start looking at flying. It's wild. It's coming down as hard as it is. And you can see on Storm Tracker radar why that is, because now that snow has started to develop here across the Bryce Canyon area, and it stretches all the way to Lake Powell, really, but it's the Kanab, Springdale, Hurricane St. George stretch into Cedar City that will continue to have impacts this morning, both on roadways and in general the snow coming down, because it has transitioned to a rain-snow mix in St. George. Now, locally up into northern Utah, we've had a couple of different rounds of showers. It just recently poured pretty hard here at our station on the west side of the Salt Lake Valley, and it continues to press on into Tooele, but things are starting to break apart here on Storm Tracker radar as they are expected to. But let's head farther back south again, where we have a winter weather advisory through 9 a.m. for additional snow of 1 to 3 in valleys, 3 to 6 in mountains. That will lead to a slippery commute now. But we also are looking at temperatures that are right there either at freezing or below freezing, including St. George, Hurricane, Springdale, Hilldale, Kanab, all in that 32 range, 18 in Bryan Head, Bryce, 28. So wet snow. So it's something to keep in mind. So that wet snow will create less impacts regarding snow-covered roads, but it will lead to at the very least, wet roads, and the higher passes have the greatest impacts this morning. 44 in Salt Lake, 46 Wendover, also in Lake Powell, 41 Green River, 30 in Rock Springs. We have an area of low pressure that's bringing in the precipitation this morning in both the rain and snow department. We also have another area of low pressure bringing in some snow showers into southwest Wyoming as well. Now, travel this morning is going to be on the moderate side of things along that I-15 corridor here around Cedar City, around US 89, into central Utah as well. This is just something you need to keep in mind. We have been seeing impacts and touch-and-go travel here across this area. But as far as traffic is concerned, there's an accident that's been around for several hours around I-80. Seems like that's taking some time to clean up, but they do have a clearance time here shortly, but that will be cleaned up. We do have this incident here at 45th South And about 5th West, off the freeway, we got all sorts of vehicles. They're being rerouted. Looks like that intersection is completely shut both ways. So not quite sure, but it's likely an accident out there. We'll keep and try to find out some more information as it comes, though, guys.
All right, thank you, Adam. Speaking of our roads, deaths on Utah roads up this year, even though traffic has been down. So UDOT and the Department of Public Safety is starting a new campaign to remind all of us to drive better. It's called Our Lies Are Costing Lives, meant to drive home the message that justifying bad driving habits really does kill fellow drivers. UDOT says driver survey data shows we all think we are better and more cautious drivers than everyone around us, and that overconfidence leads to bad decisions.
Things such as like not sending that one text message or not stopping at a stoplight and looking at that one important email from your boss.
You'll see the new campaign on TV, radio, and billboards throughout the state.
And a teenager in Syracuse got a big birthday surprise from her favorite country artist. This is 18-year-old Sarah Fry in her new car from singer Russell Dickerson. He teamed up with Chevy to give her this customized SUV that allows her to drive again. She was hit by a drunk driver last summer in Cache County. The crash left her paralyzed from the waist down. But now with this new car, Sarah is getting her life back.
If you told me that I'd be driving 6 months ago, now I would have said you're crazy.
So Sarah plans to attend college in the fall and now says she can drive herself there and come home on the weekends.
A Utah sergeant in the National Guard got one of our state's highest honors. Sergeant Eric Bornemyer, now Utah Cross Recipient for bravery above and beyond the call of duty. Bornemyer was the first person on the scene of a head-on crash in June. He gave critical medical aid until emergency first responders got there. He serves as a medical technician and volunteer search and rescue commander with the Davis County Sheriff's Office. Our congratulations and thanks to Sergeant Bornemyer.
This morning, the Senate has now confirmed the appointment of Deb Holland as the Secretary of the Interior. The former New Mexico Democratic Congresswoman is now the first Native American to lead a cabinet agency. Holland was confirmed by a vote of 51-40. But both Utah Senators Mike Lee and Mitt Romney were among those who voted against her appointment. Romney released a statement about his decision to vote against her in the nomination, saying, quote, "Based on Representative Holland's record and the views on land management and energy resources, including her support for radical policies like the Green New Deal, I'm not able to support her confirmation to lead the Interior Department."
All right, Americans are itching for a trip. Air travel hit new pandemic highs over the weekend. TSA screened more than 1.3 million passengers on Friday, the highest number on a single day since March of last year. A spokesperson for TSA says air travel expected to increase throughout the summer, and here's a number of reasons why.
Some states are lifting their restrictions. We have seen that the airlines are offering some really nice, enticing low fares.
Meanwhile, the CDC is still recommending you don't travel unless you need to. The director of the CDC says the escalating spike of people traveling is alarming, especially everyone headed out for spring break.
I'm pleading with you for the sake of our nation's health. These should be warning signs for all of us. Cases climbed last spring. They climbed again in the summer. They will climb now if we stop taking precautions when we continue to get more and more people vaccinated.
Now, the CDC says while case numbers have been slightly declining over recent weeks, they're still too high, which is why they say it's important to still wear masks and only travel if you have to.
Now that we're getting close to a vaccine being available to every Utahn, businesses are deciding if they'll require their employees to get the shot. Attorneys say Utah is an at-will state, meaning employers can require the shot legally, but they must make exceptions for certain disabilities and religious beliefs. Sean Miller, owner of the Park Cafe in Salt Lake City, says he will strongly encourage the vaccine, but ultimately he'll leave it up to his employees to decide.
It's almost an infringement of privacy from my point of view. I do still feel the responsibility to allow everybody to be their own person.
Attorneys say instead of making a shot mandatory, it's best for businesses to follow Miller's lead and strongly encourage and incentivize employers to get it. If you need to file for an exemption, we've got a list of resources on our website, abc4.com.
Well, the time now is 6:10. Here's your morning update on COVID-19. Utah had 221 new cases yesterday. That brings our state total to 378,000. Utah has administered 1,010,000 doses of the vaccine. See that number on the bottom left? 164 COVID patients are currently being treated in Utah hospitals. We had no new deaths yesterday, so our total there stays at 2,027. Looking at our last 7 days, right now we're averaging 503 new cases a day. Our testing positivity rate is now 8.2%.
6:10 now. Coming up on Good Morning Utah, Salt Lake City Public Libraries finally back open, how the mayor celebrated. And a new documentary on Disney Plus follows some extraordinary students. How these kids could change the world, coming up in your movie reviews.
Time now for your weather on the 4s.
Welcome back, Utah. We get to check in with meteorologist Adam Carroll. Adam, it looks like a lightsaber show behind you.
Well, it definitely does, especially when it's dark out.
Yeah.
The snow really really makes it easier to see because it's white against the light. And yeah, it looks like we got a little lightsaber. We had a crazy lightsaber show earlier at Bryce Canyon. It was actually more or less we were warp speeding through space, but not nearly the craziness in Bryce as we're seeing in Solitude because of the fact that we don't have a lot of precipitation out there right now across northern Utah, and anything that we are seeing is really become more scattered and showery out there after what we had a little bit of moderate rainfall move. It looks like Magna, though, you might be dealing with a little bit of moderate rainfall right now in around the Magna area, but it will continue to press into Tooele and the Tooele County area. We're still seeing some light rain here across I-84, mixing with a little bit of snow, but snow flies here across portions of the Cottonwood Canyons like we saw in the Solitude camera, but US 89 snow covered right now, as is 59, UT 59, and then UT 9, and then along I-15 we're dealing with also some slushy, snow-covered roads here at times, especially over the high passes. But St. George, you're mixing with snow right now. And it's all associated with an area of low pressure that is on the northern and western peripheries, allowing for some precipitation to occur. And then it will start ejecting it into eastern Utah here as we progress throughout the day, and it moves to the east while it really becomes showery or less than anything else, not much in the way of going on Salt Lake City south for the remainder of the morning. But you know, we are looking at temperatures very much below average because of this area of low pressure. We're only looking at the low 50s here in St. George today and mid-50s in northern Utah. So the majority of our region is below average. Temperatures outside right now are in the 30s and 40s for everyone on this map, but it is only 32 in St. George and 44 in Salt Lake. So you're definitely cold enough to see that snow fly. It's very wet, so it's going to primarily keep you just on wet roads, but the secondary, untreated, higher amount passes are going to have some problems this morning. 40s and 30s here throughout the Wasatch Front, 30 in Park City. You've had some snow as well there. Showers ending around 9 a.m. across northern Utah. More or less, we'll see some sunshine at times into the afternoon. And then actually in the mid-50s here this afternoon as well. But as we roll through time, we'll still see the snow fly here across southwestern Utah around Kanab, even all the way over to Lake Powell. You'll be dealing with some heavier rain here around 8 a.m., but it all pushes into the southeastern side of the state with snow and Blanding, Monticello, Moab will see some shower and even some thunder shower activity. Hanksville, all the way up into places like Castle Country, Price, along I-70, and it continues to spin around here through the afternoon hours as well before it finally just exits the region, and we're in for a couple of very, very nice days. 55 in Salt Lake, 51 St. George, 47 Price, 46 Vernal, also in Ely, and we'll have those scattered rain and snow showers here south of Salt Lake through the day. Morning rain, snow showers in St. George, and then comes to an end. Better day tomorrow, very nice tomorrow, and then Friday we'll have a warm, windy day for the Wasatch Front. AM showers come to an end. We'll be near 60 tomorrow under a lot of sunshine. Showers late Friday, windy as well on Friday, and it will be warm before it gets a big-time cool down here with the rain and snow showers returning on Saturday. Now, we are following an incident here at approximately 45th South, but we're going to go south first because we've got some issues here in southern Utah and northern Utah, though that incident at 45th South and 5th West. Lots of activity here. Taking a live look at that, you can see what we got in terms of activity. Not quite sure what it is, but they have allowed for some cars to pass through, but lots of emergency vehicles out there, guys.
Time now for Talking Pictures with Tony.
One couple lives happily until a weekend trip takes a dark turn, and then a new documentary on Disney Plus showcases students who would change the world. Our film critic Tony Toscano has the reviews.
Good morning. New on all video-on-demand platforms this week is the dark romantic comedy Happily. After 14 years of marriage, Tom and Janet can't keep their hands off each other. When their friends invite them for a special weekend away, a stranger shows up who says he's got mandatory vaccines that will make them normal because they're much too happy.
Hey, the first couple has arrived. Who wants a tour? How about this one? Oh, that's not a bedroom.
So there's a gun room.
We're gonna have a killer weekend.
I think this movie doesn't require me to be like a joke-making funny person. Mm-hmm. You know, Ben David obviously had a lot of control. It's a very deliberate movie. And I think a lot of the funny comes from like a creepy score under scenes that are incredibly earnest.
Happily is a dark, sexy, and very funny comedy about relationships and the perception of happiness. Again, Happily is available on all video-on-demand platforms. It gets a B and is rated R. Streaming exclusively on Disney Plus, Own the Room is a new documentary that follows 5 students who just might change the world.
I had a technology where I could make synthetic chemicals, but with the sun.
This is a world-changing idea.
This is a competition where people can come from difficult backgrounds and still make it. My mom told me, you have a story that deserves to be heard. I'm so sorry.
We wanted to pick a selection of students whose stories represented different issues that our world is facing and that, you know, entrepreneurs face. And so I think what ties them all together is they're all finding kind of big solutions to local problems. And you can see how most of their companies probably couldn't have been created anywhere else.
Own the Room is a hopeful and thoughtful look into the world of young entrepreneurship and the desire needed and the work it takes to take an idea into reality. Again, Own the Room is streaming exclusively on Disney+. It gets an A and is rated TV PG. BYU TV is celebrating 7 seasons of its competition series, Relative Race.
Welcome to Season 7 of Relative Race.
Open your car's trunk for further instructions.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what I'm looking at, but it's crazy.
With their own DNA as a roadmap and a large cash prize on the line, 4 couples must race coast to coast and discover a new, different relative every day. The series is hosted by Dan Debenham.
We take 4 teams of 2 people each. We do all of the research on them to find relatives that they often didn't know that they ever had. And then we fly them out to an undisclosed location. We take away all their smart technology. We provide them with paper maps and old-fashioned flip phones. And then we text them every day, providing clues where they race to a different city each day. Once they arrive in that city, they have to overcome a challenge, kind of like Amazing Race or Survivor. And when they overcome that challenge, they receive the final clue of that day, and that's the address to a relative in that city.
Relative Race continues to be an exciting, touching, and inspiring family TV program, and well worth your time to check out. Again, it's available on BYU TV and gets an A. It's rated TVG. For ABC4, I'm film critic Tony Toscano.
I will do. Thank you, Tony. And if you like Tony as much as we do, go on to Facebook and like his page, Talking Pictures, or visit his website, talkingpictures.tv.
6:21 coming up next on Good Morning Utah. Have you gotten your 3rd round of stimulus money yet? The IRS says you might have to wait a little longer. We've got details on the delay. And getting back to normal too fast. What health teams are warning at this point in our pandemic.
Time now for your weather on the 4s.
Well, here's your weather on the 4s. We're looking at morning showers continuing here for a couple hours across places like Salt Lake, Tooele, Utah counties. Utah County may be into the afternoon, but Salt Lake, Tooele will be ending a little bit sooner. We're seeing some snowfall all around the southwestern corner of the state. All of that will progress into the eastern half of the state as we progress through time. But 40s and 50s here across northern Utah. We'll have some more sunshine as well breaking out into the afternoon. Less sun farther south you go, only because we're dealing with this area of low pressure that continues to move off to the east. But maybe by the afternoon, later afternoon, we might break out with a little bit of sun. St. George 51, morning rain, snow showers out there. 61 tomorrow, 68 and 72 through Friday, and windy for the Wasatch Front. Chances of morning showers continuing out there in spots, but not all of the Wasatch Front. 55 breezy, 59 tomorrow will be absolutely beautiful day. And then 66, 69 with showers late in the day. And then, of course, we're bringing in some more rain, snow with another storm system coming in on the first day of spring. Now, traffic-wise, we do have one incident that we're kind of getting a little bit more information on here at about 45th South and 5th West. But we also have some other issues going on into southern Utah, especially southwest Utah, where we're seeing the roads along I-15 between Cedar City and St. George are getting a little dicey. Also along State Route 59, US 89, you can see where it's snow-covered roads, but we're starting to see the precipitation develop now into Cedar City. These are snow-covered roads in and around Hurricane. So this is an area of concern this morning, especially if you're going up I-15. Look at those numbers, almost 70 minutes up and down I-15. It's going to be another one of those slushy days, guys.
Thank you much, Adam. Happening today, a mural is being unveiled in West Valley City to shine light on the issue of suicide in Utah's Latino community. Utah Governor Spencer Cox and West Valley Mayor Ron Bigelow will host that unveiling. It's part of a media campaign dedicated to victims of suicide and is intended to help Utah's Latinos know the mental health and suicide prevention resources available to them. The unveiling starts at 11 a.m. at West Valley City Hall.
Another sign of normalcy in our pandemic. Salt Lake City Libraries opened yesterday. We brought you the news first on Good Morning Utah. The mayor was there to celebrate. Each branch of the library will now have designated browsing areas for visitors, computer sessions also available, and passport services picking back up. Mayor Aaron Mendenhall says yesterday's reopening a sign the city is moving in the right direction.
I think this is a first step in the water for a city to be reopening their doors to the public without appointment, and I think it'll be telling for us as we look to open other public venues around the city.
The library will still require visitors to wear a mask and practice social distancing.
Time now 6:27, still ahead on GMU. China hit with its worst sandstorm in over a decade. See what it did to local roads and airports. Plus, Salt Lake County Library now offering a virtual story time. See how reading and different activities will help your kids in a live interview. As we head to the break, here's a live look outside. That's downtown Salt Lake on a rainy morning. We're back with your weather on the 4s right after this.
Live from Utah's first TV station. Good Morning Utah at 6:30 starts now.
Good morning, Utah. I'm Sarah Martin.
And I'm Brian Carlson. The time 6:29 on this Tuesday.
A hiker is missing this morning up American Fork Canyon. We've got a crew on the way there for the latest on this morning's search. 28-year-old Robert Bobby Healy last seen Sunday around noon at the start of his hike. Utah County Sheriff's Office says his car is still parked at the mouth of American Fork Canyon. Search and Rescue tells us he's an avid hiker, but he does not have a lot of equipment with him. Crews found a cell phone ping. They are centering their search in that area this morning.
And people waking up this morning wondering where their third round of stimulus money is may have to wait a little longer to get it. The IRS says people could see delays if they don't have a bank account on file with the IRS. And so could people who bank with Chase and Wells Fargo. Those banks say they'll start sending out that money tomorrow. According to the federal government, 87% of Utahns qualify for that third round of money. And for those relying on it, the IRS says be patient.
I think everyone needs the money. We need the boost, and it's really going to help out a lot of people in need.
Now, the $1.9 trillion relief bill will also help people get emergency rental assistance, funding for education, transportation, infrastructure, and emergency paid sick leave. To check the status of your payment, we have a link to those resources on our website, abc4.com. And now the latest on the coronavirus crisis. This morning, Americans are getting the vaccine. However, there's concern over spring break crowds now going on beaches and bars not wearing masks. New variants of the virus posing a major threat, and that's why health officials are sending out a warning. ABC's Andrew Ginsburg has a story.
This morning, more states making it easier to get a vaccine. Mississippi and Connecticut now lowering the age requirement as more shots become available.
Especially with the approval of the third vaccine recently, I do see more and more states move in this direction.
The CDC says nearly 71 million Americans, or just over a quarter of the adult population, has received at least one dose of the vaccine, while nearly 1 in 10 of all adults are fully vaccinated. And as those efforts ramp up, nearly half the country is rolling back pandemic restrictions. In Los Angeles County, restaurants can again welcome customers indoors, and movie theaters and fitness centers are able to reopen, all at limited capacity.
Vaccines are working.
But doctors are warning about a potential spike in cases and undoing much of the progress made, with states like Florida and Georgia seeing a surge of spring breakers. In Miami Beach, crowds flood the streets of South Beach, most without masks.
I feel like the pandemic is over.
Really?
Yeah.
It does. Meanwhile, the first and second families are embarking on a campaign to educate and showcase the benefits of the new near $2 trillion coronavirus aid package President Biden signed into law.
Shots in arms and money in pockets. That's important.
This as more households start to receive the $1,400 lifeline they've waited months for, like Linda Oakley, a switchboard operator at a hospital in Philadelphia.
It gives you a sense of hope, and that's what I think a lot of people need right now.
And President Biden declaring he's on pace to meet 2 of his goals here in just the next 10 days. 100 million shots since his inauguration and 100 million stimulus checks in people's bank accounts. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
Well, as far as your weather on the forwards is concerned, we have an area of low pressure tracking through the desert southwest Arizona, bringing in snow right now to southwestern Utah. Also some rain in there across places like Lake Powell. But it's become more scattered here, even into northern Utah, where we have seen a little bit of wet weather overnight. Places like Salt Lake County, Tooele County, Utah County. We'll get into that a little bit here in a minute. But along I-15, SR 9, SR 59, also US 89, we're all seeing those areas under snow. Also SR 143 towards Bryan Head. It's a little dicey here this morning across this area, and this is something that you have to keep in mind if you have to travel up I-15. But that last round of wet weather has now moved off into the Oakers towards Stansbury Park, Erta, Tooele. We're more or less scattered here in our mountains with snow showers. Winter weather alerts in terms of through 9 a.m. for additional snow 1 to 3 inches for valleys, 3 to 6 for mountains, and of course traveling is going to be a little bit tough along I-15. But temperatures are more than fine in terms of to see snowfall in what we're seeing it right now in Hurricane at 32, but overall, the entire state, 30s and 40s, and that's what we're seeing here this morning. We're a bit on the milder side here in Salt Lake, but the area of low pressure will continue to track through the desert southwest, bringing more precipitation to eastern Utah throughout the day. UDOT shows travel impacts as far north as some of our central mountains into most of southwestern Utah, but St. George should be just more or less wet roads. Looking at traffic, though, US 89 is quite snow-covered. Also, slushy here along SR 59. I-15 seeing a little bit of wet weather now in Cedar. That is some slushy and snow-covered roads as well across Hurricane. So drive times up I-15. Need to be prepared. It's going to take you a while, almost 70 minutes here, both going and coming.
All right, thanks so much, Adam. Story time. There's nothing more iconic about a library, maybe even about childhood, than story time, and the county library has figured out a way to do it safely and with a little extra fun. Joining me to tell us more, Tammy Austin from the county library. Tammy, thanks for being here this morning.
You're welcome.
Okay, story time, so important, integral maybe to the mission of a library. But you're like stepping it up a notch here. I'm seeing yoga items.
Right, so we do a yoga story time once a week on Fridays. And so all of our story times we focus on talk, sing, read, write, play. But for a yoga story time, we add in some yoga.
I love it. I mean, why yoga with story time?
So for little kids and adults as well, once you add in movement, it really helps make those brain connections for those little kiddos. And it makes for healthy bodies. And in yoga, we also focus on our breathing so that they can learn some skills to help with their emotional regulation, which is hard for everybody.
Yes.
And so we can start right away.
I love it. Okay, can we? Maybe I'm not dressed for yoga today, but are there some poses
yes,
you can
we'll
show
do
me
a couple.
that we can do?
Yes, so I always pick a theme. So for example, say we did weather. So we'd read a book about weather, and then we would do like a weather pose. So we can open up, point your toes out, hands go forward, and now we look like a snowflake.
Oh, how
fun. Good. We can also sit back in a chair. So have your feet come together, and then just pretend you're sitting in an imaginary chair and arms up. And you can pretend that you're lightning. So now we're lightning striking during a thunderstorm as we talk about weather.
I love it. This is fun.
Thank you.
And that concept that you coordinate kind of the topic that you're thinking about. So this intellectual part maybe, and then a physical tangent part.
Right, and then we sing some songs and play some games. Like we have these cubes with different poses, so we can roll the dice and do our different weather poses and talk more about it.
I love it. And I mean, how do you keep this safe? We are in the middle of a pandemic. How do people access this?
Right, so we actually offer lots of story times, and we do 2 to 3 story times a day, Monday through Thursday, on Zoom. So they're interactive. You can log in. We can all see each other and talk to each other and sing songs. And then on Fridays on Facebook, we post a yoga story time, so you can watch it anytime and do it safely at home with your family.
And that's so nice. So you don't even have to like log in at a certain time.
No.
That scheduling bit can be really hard if you have a 3-year-old,
right.
You know, maybe multiple 3-year-olds in your house. But you can log on and do it whenever you're ready to.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. Can you go through for me just some of the other options you have for people in terms of story times and options online?
Yes. So our Zoom story times, we do an evening story time on Tuesday. It's bedtime story time, so you can get kids all ready for bed, you can have your story time, and then wind down and go to bed. We also have a baby story time that a colleague does, so you can come interact with just your little newborn and sing songs and watch them and things like that. And then we just have regular family story time. So 2 or 3 every day, Monday through Thursday.
This is such a great resource just because I think it's hard to come up with new ideas as a parent. You have your child with you 100% of the time, and the library is offering all of these resources to help you learn how to make sure that your child is progressing and learning new ideas and fun things to do.
Right.
So fun.
Exactly.
We're speaking with Tammy Austin this morning at the County Library. You guys are so easy to find. Facebook, online. We'll link all of that on our website too, abc4.com/GMU. Tammy, thanks so much for getting me moving this morning.
Thank you very much.
Sounds good. The time now is 6:38. Coming up on GMU, deaths on Utah roads up, even though traffic has been down. Hear what state transportation experts are doing to reduce our deadly crashes. Plus, dancing to a different tune. See what people are loving about this viral video of an Irish dancer. But first, here's your first look at Good Morning America.
In this morning's GMA First Look, after the worst year on record for the travel industry, this morning a potential comeback. U.S. Airlines already reporting some big spring and summer bookings, and so is the cruise industry.
The vaccine gives people renewed confidence in travel and in cruising in particular.
It was a year ago, last March, when the CDC issued a no-sail order as COVID cases exploded on land and at sea. Cruise after cruise ending up with sick passengers, leaving thousands of people stuck on ships. But now, with the vaccine more accessible and new health measures in place, passengers are ready to get back on board. And coming up at 7 a.m., Robin Roberts goes one-on-one with the president and CEO of Virgin Voyages. He's about to make an exclusive announcement only on Good Morning America. With your GMA First Look, I'm Gio Benitez, ABC News, New York.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Adam Carroll, Weather Rate certified 10 years in a row.
All right, Adam, we've got some rain out there this morning.
We do, but you know what? We also have some snow in St. George. Brian, this is on Dixie State's campus right here. How about that?
So St. George is getting snow?
Right. We've had an inch and a half of measurable snow in St. George here between the 1st of March and the 15th of March. We've had a trace at the airport here in Salt Lake. Only one other time has that ever happened since we started recording these things way back in 1894. So, yeah, it's a weird thing that we've had more snow in March this year in St. George than in Salt Lake. But you can see the snow coming down here in and around Dixie State. Makes for a nice little scene. But it's just really wet roads out there because it took a while for that snow to start flying, and the temperatures took a while to crash towards the freezing mark. So for the most part here, the main thoroughfares will just be wet, but the higher passes here, we've got some problems this morning yet again. SR9, SR59, US 89, SR 143, SR 21. All of these are all going to have some issues here this morning with regards to snow-covered roads. Cedar, you're still more or less on the fringe right now. You haven't had that bad of a start to your day compared to other spots across southwestern Utah. We've had some rain move through over a couple of periods of time this morning that is now moving into Tooele. We're still seeing some otherwise scattered showers out there, both in the rain and snow department in the Wasatch Back in our mountains. Satellite radar, though, shows why all this is going on. An area of low pressure dove south and then eastward into the northern Arizona area throughout the overnight hours, and it will continue to press east. But the northern and western fringes is where we're seeing that wet weather, and it's impeding into Lake Powell right now. It's scattered there else, but then another area of low pressure is going to bring some snow showers here for places like southwest Wyoming. Oh, look at this. Interesting. Within the last hour, they've expanded the thunderstorm outlook here to include places like central Utah. We'll have to change up the map a little bit to show that, but Moab, Hanksville, Green River, Grand Junction, Price, you're now in it here, and it was more or less just Green River and Moab points eastward. So that's something to anticipate is a little bit of rumbles of thunder here heading into the afternoon hours. 30s and 40s, though, out there right now. Temperature-wise, that 32 in St. George. We're 44 in Salt Lake, and they're 32. This is just the weirdest winter. 39 Morgan, Park City 31, 43 in Tooele. We'll get into the mid-50s, though, this afternoon. We'll see some sunshine. So an okay afternoon, and we'll be near normal. But overall, this will clear out. As we progress into the overnight hours, we're actually going to have a very incredibly nice day here across the region with sun. A little bit of cloud cover, but warmer temperatures. More clouds on Thursday, also increased winds as well, but a windier day on Friday. 55 in Salt Lake, 47 Price, 46 Ely, also 44 in Cedar. And, looking at some shower and thunder shower activity here on the eastern side of the state. 40s and 50s, though, into northern Utah, also in central, also in southern. But, it's going to be well below average here in southwestern Utah today, but you're going to quickly move into the 60s by tomorrow. Still staying about 4 or 5 degrees below average in St. George, but very nice. Friday brings windy weather in 70s. For the Wasatch Front, chance of morning showers end here pretty soon. 59 tomorrow, 66 and 69 heading into Friday with another round of windier weather. Showers late overnight into Saturday, rain and snow chances. We also are talking about an incident here at about 45th South and 5th West. Get a little bit closer, you can see what's going on. We've got a bunch of emergency vehicles on the side of the road, but I do believe, Brian, you have a little bit more information about what's going on with this incident.
Yeah, we're just talking with some of the emergency responders there on scene of that crash here, Adam. So let's take a look at that if we can show it to everyone here at home. So you're seeing right now that crash 45th South and roughly 5th West there in Murray. So we're told that someone was hit by a car in that area. And so they may have some serious injuries. Because of that, you're seeing that crash at least blocking 3 lanes of traffic. It's closed, headed westbound, northbound, and at least 1 eastbound lane. So it's going to be tough to get through that area, especially going west. But for a number of people, it's not going to let up until at least an hour from now. So give yourself some extra time going through that intersection, 45th South and 5th West there in Murray.
Time now for news around the world. This week marks the 10-year anniversary of the uprising turned civil war in Syria. Peaceful protests against President Bashar Assad's regime began March 2011, then turned into a full-blown civil war. Nearly 500,000 people have now been killed. More than half the pre-war population of 23 million have been displaced. It's the world's worst displacement crisis since World War II. People in China's capital recovering today from their worst sandstorm in a decade. Look at that. The storm snarled traffic, canceled hundreds of flights in and out of Beijing's 2 main airports. Sandstorms are common in the springtime in China. It's just been years since they've had one this large. And there's controversy in Brazil this morning. There was a vote to rename the country's world-famous soccer stadium after the legendary soccer player Pelé. Lawmakers signed off on the change last week, but not everyone is happy about it. It's currently named after sports journalism pioneer Mario Fijo, who played a key part in getting that stadium built, and many wanted to stay that way. Rio de Janeiro's state governor has 2 weeks to approve or reject that name change. That's your news around the world.
And in your business news, the promise of travelers are now boosting airline stock prices, and some GM trucks aren't getting the full mileage they normally could. Here's your Good Morning Utah business report. New record territory for both the Dow and the S&P 500. Both indexes closed at record highs, with investors buying on expectations of a quicker economic recovery. They're also waiting on cues from the Federal Reserve this week on the future of interest rates. And helping to boost the markets, airline stocks, which have taken off as more Americans get vaccinated and look to travel. Airline executives say bookings for the spring and summer are on the rise, and share prices for several airlines have now returned to pre-pandemic levels. Plus, some GM trucks won't be getting quite the fuel mileage they could. A global computer chip shortage has GM pulling the fuel management module out of some Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra models in order to keep them rolling off the line. It'll shave 1 mile per gallon off their fuel economy. And finally, the solar industry is expecting a boom across the country. The U.S. Solar Energy Industries Association now says installations will likely quadruple by the end of the decade. That would create enough capacity to power 40% of the homes in America today. And that's your Good Morning Utah Business Report.
Deaths on Utah roads up this year, even though traffic has been down. So UDOT and the Department of Public Safety starting a new campaign to remind all of us to drive better. It's called Our Lies Are Costing Lives, meant to drive home the message that justifying bad driving habits really does kill fellow drivers. UDOT says driver survey data shows we all think we're better and more cautious drivers than everyone around us, and that overconfidence leads to bad decisions.
Things such as like not sending that one text message, or not stopping at a stoplight and looking at that one important email from your boss.
You'll see that new campaign on TV, radio, billboards throughout the state.
And a teenager in Syracuse, boy, did she get a big surprise from her favorite country artist. This is 18-year-old Sarah Fry in her new car from singer Russell Dickerson. Now, he teamed up with Chevy to give her a customized SUV that allows her to drive again. Last summer, she was hit by a drunk driver in Cache County. The crash left her paralyzed from the waist down. But now, with this new car, Sarah's getting her life back.
If you told me that I'd be driving 6 months ago, now I would have said you're crazy.
Sarah plans to attend college in the fall and now says she can drive herself there and come home on the weekends.
A Utah sergeant in our National Guard got one of our state's highest honors. Sergeant Eric Bornemyer, Utah Red Cross recipient for bravery above and beyond the call of duty. Bornemyer was the first person on the scene of a head-on crash in June. He gave critical medical aid until emergency first responders got there. He serves as a medical technician and volunteer search and rescue commander with the Davis County Sheriff's Office. Our congratulations and thanks go to Sergeant Bornemyer.
And new this morning, the Senate has now confirmed the appointment of Deb Holland as the Secretary of the Interior. The former New Mexico Democratic Congresswoman is now the first Native American to lead a cabinet agency. Holland was confirmed by a vote of 51 to 40. However, both Utah Senators Mike Lee and Mitt Romney voted against her appointment. Romney released a statement about his decision to vote against her, saying, quote, "Based on Representative Holland's record and views on land management and energy resources, including her support for radical policies like the Green New Deal, I'm not able to support her confirmation to lead the Interior Department."
Americans are itching for a vacation. Air travel hit new pandemic highs over the weekend. TSA screened more than 1.3 million passengers just Friday. That's the highest number on a single day since March last year. A spokesperson for TSA says air travel expected to rise throughout the summer, and there's a number of reasons why.
Some states are lifting their restrictions. We have seen that the airlines are offering some really nice, enticing low fares.
Meanwhile, the CDC is still recommending you don't travel unless you need to. The director of the CDC says the escalating spike of people traveling is alarming, especially everyone headed out for spring break.
I'm pleading with you for the sake of our nation's health. These should be warning signs for all of us. Cases climbed last spring. They climbed again in the summer. They will climb now if we stop taking precautions when we continue to get more and more people vaccinated.
The CDC says while case numbers have been slightly declining over recent weeks, they're still too high, which is why they say it's important to still wear a mask and travel only if you have to.
We're getting close to a vaccine being available to every Utahn, and now businesses are deciding if they'll require their employees to get a shot. Utah's attorneys say Utah is an at-will state. That means employers can require a shot, but they must make exceptions for certain disabilities and religious beliefs. Sean Miller, owner of the Park Cafe in Salt Lake, says he will strongly encourage the vaccine, but will ultimately leave it up to his employees to decide.
It's almost an infringement on privacy from my point of view. I do still feel the responsibility to allow everybody to be their own person.
Attorneys say instead of making a shot mandatory, it is best for businesses to follow Miller's lead and strongly encourage or incentivize employees to get the vaccine. If you need to file for an exemption, we've got a list of resources on our website, abc4.com.
And police in Centerville are now telling us what it was like to track down a moose on the loose. Check out this 2-year-old moose that we showed you yesterday roaming around a Centerville neighborhood on Sunday morning. The 900-pound wayward bull cut across yards, hopped fences. And now we're hearing from both of those officers from the Centerville Police and the Department of Wildlife Resources who came to corral him. Eventually, they got that moose cornered into someone's backyard.
And he was grumpy. He put his head down and was actually coming at one of the DWR guys.
and he hopped over onto a fence, and I ran back to my vehicle because we were like, we don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, I don't blame him. That's the moment that they tranquilized him with a dart right there. Now, they say that was the safest way to be able to move the sleepy moose to a new area on East Canyon in Morgan County. ABC4's Rick Aaron will have more on this moose pursuit tonight in our Behind the Badge.
Glad the moose made it home. All right, Adam, one last look at our weather.
You looked a little woozy there, waking up.
Woozy moose.
Where did it
got a good nap. Good nap.
Oh man, yeah, we are, seeing some snow across southwestern Utah. It is accumulating in many locations. We've seen a little bit of a skiff across St. George, but overall, any showers across places like Salt Lake County, also places like Utah County will eventually come to an end. But as we move through time over the next few days, guys, we're looking at very, very nice weather here. Heading into tomorrow especially. So that's good news because we like that. We like to hear that we're going to have nice weather, especially the springtime weather, and we're going to get that. In St. George, we'll be back to 61 tomorrow. Mostly sunny, 68 Thursday, 72 with some gusty southerly winds Friday for the Wasatch Front. Chance of some morning showers ending here pretty soon, near 9, 59 on tomorrow for your high, 66, and then 69 Friday with more gusty southerly winds heading into a new storm on Saturday. So we continue to follow an accident, though, at 45th South and 5th West. There is a pretty good police presence there. And Brian, I think you know a little bit more about what's going on with this.
Yeah, you're looking at that, of course, that crash right there in the same area, 45th South and 5th West. In fact, let's see if we can blow that up here for you just to give you a better sense for what you're seeing right there. So Murray's the spot, 45th South, 5th West. You're seeing people headed west through that area is having a tough time getting through because you have 3 lanes blocked off.
Yeah.
So it won't clear up until about 7:45, so give yourself extra time. Speaking of the time, it's baby birthday time. And this is Kate DeGaring. She's the daughter of our own Nisha DeGaring.
So cute. Kate, happy birthday.
Look at those little cheeks right there. Now, last hour, we had this photo.
Hilarious.
She's just crying her lungs out. And this one, I mean,
a little more jostled.
She's hard to get over how adorable she is right there.
Yeah. Kate turned 16 today, right? 16 on the 16th. Pretty cool.
It's a big day.
Big day.
I hope all of Kate's friends are watching this morning and see exactly what she looks like as a little baby girl. Happy birthday, Kate.
Happy birthday.
Oh, we got another one here, too. So that's not the only person having a birthday today. This is Victoria Satterfield. And Victoria, she's having a big birthday today. Happy birthday, Victoria. Thanks for making us part of your morning.
We'll be right back here tomorrow. More local news coming up on Utah's CW30.